Hi, I think we're live here with Wesley, and he has kids on the background. I have kids on the background, and we do all have.
I told them to be quiet.
I literally just saw an announcement that they suspended the entire year of school. So
Yeah.
I know you have few of them, and your poor wife.
Yeah, it's gonna be something. The whole school year is suspended, so yeah, a lot going on right now.
Wesley, thank you so much for taking your time. You're one of the smartest entrepreneurs that I ever met. And every single time I speak with you, I know you have like so many goodies and insights and small tips, and you're following so many people and you're on top of everything. Why don't you? I know you so well, but maybe you want to share a little bit about you and how we can stay relevant these days.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm Wesley Rocha, and my company actually specializes in software and marketing for basically follow-up. It's really how to stay in touch with people who already know, like, and trust you, rather than or just making the more of the leads or opportunities that you have. You know what I mean? So I actually have a presentation which I can go through, and I'll kind of show you exactly how that works, because there's a little secret world that when I talk to people, they actually don't, they know about it, but they don't know how to get into it, and a lot of them don't even know that it exists. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into that if that's okay. And then if anyone has questions, then I guess there's a chat or something, right?
It is. We are actually streaming on Facebook.
And on Facebook? Okay, great. So I have that here on my side, the Facebook Live, and then I'll have the presentation.
We can fire up with your presentation while people are actually asking questions, because we're firing in like 5 different groups. So I have somebody gather all.
Oh, good. Great. So you'll present the questions to me then if they have them.
Exactly. I will do that. So you don't need to focus on the groups or anything.
Perfect. All right. Well, then let me go ahead and move this over here and then get started here for you. Oops. Okay. And so I'm going to share screen. We're going to go screen 1, share, and there we go. All right. You see that okay?
Yes, we can see everything.
Okay, great. So today I'm just going to cover one topic. I think we have a little less than, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so, correct?
We have till 4:30 when is money coming, so we good.
Okay, so we have plenty of time. All right, so what I want to do is I want to introduce you to kind of the secret world of advertising. This is a very popular form of advertising online that you probably are familiar with once I show you, but what a lot of people don't realize is that they can actually take advantage and utilize this to, like you said, stay relevant and stay in front of people, especially now. So right now, before I even get into that, you may be grounded at home base, essentially, can't really do much. So what is like the plan? Right now, the plan is to essentially, you got to be creative. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of presentations going into pivoting and getting creative and all that stuff. But also to start planting seeds for once we get past this, because what's going to end up happening is there's going to be, just like with haircuts or any kind of beauty type maintenance, it doesn't like go away, right? So what I'm anticipating, I'll just use haircuts for example, and this is going to be very similar in your case, is once it's time to go back to normal life, everyone's going to rush to go get the haircut or go get their nails done or go get their eyebrows and whatever it might be, right? That maintenance. And so if you're not ready for that rush, you're actually going to leave a lot of money on the table. So if I'm a hair salon, for example, and I don't have enough stylists, I should actually be hiring stylists right now and getting them, not necessarily hiring and to pay them right now, but positioning, getting ready. So when the onslaught comes, I have every single station open and I don't have people coming in, finding out there's a 2-hour wait and walking out. You see what I'm saying? So think about what's going to happen after this is over. think about the onslaught of people that are going to come, and start thinking and planning now how to be ready for that. Now, separate, that's kind of a side thing, but going into this, now, how do you stay relevant? How do you start, maybe, how can you get in front of these people and let them know that you're going to be ready, and what specials you might have or whatever you could do to prepare maybe in the next 30 days. And that's what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to show you retargeting, okay? And I'll just jump into it right now. So right now, the two biggest ad platforms is going to be Google and Facebook, right? Google's number one, Facebook's basically second. That's where the majority of ad spend online is spent, or those two networks. Now, what I want to tell you about is a little thing called retargeting. Now, retargeting, you're probably familiar if you've ever been shopping online and then later you started seeing ads for whatever that thing that you were shopping for. You saw them kind of popping up maybe on Facebook, on your feed, or maybe on Google, or even YouTube ads. You might see them all over the place. And it's like, wow, okay, how does that work? Well, the way it works is when you visit a website, if you're familiar with cookies, it's not really important. It's basically something in the browser that stores per that visitor, right? As long as they're not in private mode. And when they leave and they go to other sites and that are displaying ads, or an app or any of that stuff, they're going to start seeing your banners. They're going to start seeing your face, your logo, your branding, however you have that set up on these other websites. Now, there's two types of retargeting. One is your pixeled audience. Okay, and I'll explain what a pixel is and how that works in a moment. And then there's the audience you already own. And this is the one that I feel a lot of people overlook, but is also the easiest one to get started with. And I'll explain exactly how you can use this in a moment. So first, your pixeled audience, what is that? Well, your pixeled audience are basically people who visit your website, or if you use a Facebook business page, if people like your posts on there or things like that. I'll go into more, but even an Instagram page, people who like your posts on Instagram, you might have followers who do that. These are pixeled audiences. And what happens is every time someone gets in, visits your website, likes a post, or does one of these actions, they're added into, or they can be added into an audience. Okay, and this would be a group of people that you could then show ads to in the future. So this essentially allows you to reach, known and unknown visitors. Known meaning these are people that maybe are your clients, or maybe you've done services before and they're visiting your website or something like that, or visiting your page or looking at your stuff. And then there's unknown visitors, and those are people who maybe are researching, maybe you've done some marketing or advertising and you've put in a coupon, or you've put something where they come to your website, your Instagram page or whatever, and they're interacting, but you don't have any contact information with them. So some people, you may have their phone number, you may have their email, you may have their name, you may have some contact information because maybe they're your customers or people you've worked with. And then the others, they're just visitors. They haven't actually done business with you yet, or opted in or given you any kind of information, right? Well, by using this strategy, you're able to get your message or your ads in front of all these, whether they're known or unknown. Now, there's a little piece of code. You don't have to be technical for this part per se, but there's a little code that when you go into Facebook, your ad account, it kind of guides you through, and you can probably find a tutorial easily on YouTube that shows you step-by-step how to do this. You grab a little piece of code and you have your website people or whoever put it on your website for you. And that helps. Once people start visiting your website, they start getting added to the audience. And this could be done for Facebook, Google, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Snapchat, wherever you're communicating with your customers, your clients. All those ad platforms have this retargeting pixel. You can add all of them to your website. You can have 5 or 6, 7 retargeting pixels or cookies on your website. All right. This just gives you kind of an idea. You can actually create rules on how those ads are shown or who they're shown to. So you, for example, you can choose, oh, I only want to show this ad to people who visited, this website. right? And so from there, you would just put in what the website or what the URL is or what the page on your blog was or anything like that. Again, you don't really have to be too technical, and there's online tutorials that guide you through all of this and make it really easy. The second type of audience is your own custom audience, your own customers. Now, I know a lot of you probably don't keep a database of your customers. Some of you do. Maybe you have a system or you have some kind of, Irina, maybe you could chime in on this. Or do they typically use a database or anything, or is this on
So
paper, Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah, they will either have like a mind body or a sort of like online booking system. So majority of
That's what I thought.
have like
Okay.
a, you know, they can retarget
Perfect.
audience. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So if you're using MindBody or using an Excel spreadsheet or any of this stuff where you can, some of these will allow you to actually sync your information to Facebook and Google, those contacts automatically through something like Zapier or some service like that that connects the two. And some you could just, if you want, it's just easier to export the contacts and then take those contacts over to Google or Facebook and upload them as an audience. Then what Facebook and Google will do is they'll basically go through, all your contacts. It doesn't do anything with them. It's just a computer that reads them. And all it does is try to match them with existing Facebook or Google accounts that might share the same phone number or email or any of that contact information. So now you have all this data sitting there that really just sits in your database, not doing anything, right? Unless you're following up and doing things like that. But a lot of times you're working, that they could be added to this audience. So with the custom audience, just to clarify, these are your database of contacts, and the pixeled audience are like people who visit your web page, Instagram page, Facebook page, things like that. So to kind of give you an idea, you can actually put your ads anywhere on Facebook. You know, Facebook doesn't have like reserved spaces for like big companies only. You can get your ads where any of the placements, like the newsfeed ad, the right column ad, the mobile is just the mobile news feed, and then Instagram, again, same, like a news feed. Now, these aren't like posts, these are evergreen. So once you create the ads and you attach maybe $1 a day budget or something like that, they run just ongoing to your audience in front of them. And then you could change them out if you want every couple months or so, maybe with a new coupon or special or whatever it might be. Or it could just be messaging. It could be content. It could be, if you have a blog or you have tutorials, you could do that just to build your authority. Kind of just depends on how you're marketing. So here are some examples. There's a right column ad on Facebook. Then here you'll see a newsfeed ad, right? This is probably the most popular. And you can have call to actions like Messenger, you know, instead of learn more, it could say message me, and they could start a message with you right there. And I'm not talking about bots or anything like that. I'm just talking about people messaging you. And then you can even add coupons or specials or things like that. Or you can even do a video. You know, you can upload a video as your ad, however you want to do that. And they would see you on Facebook. And then that's the same kind of idea, but on a mobile screen. And again, these ads I'm talking about specifically are to your audience. So that's why it's very cheap, like $1 a day or less is how much it would cost to just advertise to your audience. A lot of the stuff you see out there, what people talk about mostly, is going on Facebook, creating lead generation type stuff and targeting just audiences like women in this age range who are interested in this, and that's a targeted audience. Okay, so that's trying to bring in new business. But what I'm talking about is existing audiences, people who are already interacting with your stuff. So think about how you can use your targeting, for example, your contact list, your past clients, even your whole address book. I've had people just export everything out of their phone and upload those into an audience, right? So they can stay in front of their family members and friends and everybody that they know. Then your CRM, you know, who are the people that are in MindBody? Who are the people in your Excel spreadsheet? All that stuff. Or any leads. Think about opportunities that you might have. People who have inquired but didn't necessarily move forward or do anything or haven't visited in a long time. Then there's the website interactions. And these are people who visit, again, your website, maybe they complete a form, that kind of stuff. And then there's Facebook page interactions, and Facebook page and Instagram interactions are the same. So people who like your posts on Instagram or Facebook, people who comment on your post, and these could be normal posts that you're doing. If someone comments on it or likes it or anything, they could be added to the audience. So now I could show ads to that person over and over again, even if they're not seeing my organic stuff, right? Also, people who messaged your business. And then most importantly, people who watch your videos. So if you do any kind of video marketing or you do any kind of video tutorials or anything video at all, you can actually target people who are watching your video 25%, 50%, 70%, whatever. Anyone who watches your video can be added to your audience. Sometimes people use video to create their audiences because you say, well, if someone watched 75% of this video, then they're like my hot audience, right? And so you may want to show a special discount or a special coupon to them, for example. That's Facebook and Instagram. Anyone have questions? Any questions about just Facebook and Instagram so far? No?
Well,
Okay.
I'll gather the questions together at the end because I have to
No problem.
different platforms. So you could keep going.
Got it. All right.
That's so much value that you're bringing there. Thank you for doing that. I think it's so important.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully, sometimes this stuff could sound a little technical and feel overwhelming, but I assure you, once you dive in, it's not too bad. And then the help out there isn't too expensive either. So we'll get into that later. But anyway, next is the Google Display Network. Google Display Network is very interesting. It's sometimes referred to as GDN, okay? And the Google Display Network covers the remainder of the internet. So Facebook covers Facebook. Google Display Network covers pretty much like 90% of everything else. And they let you put ads on websites, banners, video ads, mobile, all kinds of places all over the internet. So for example, your ads could be on glamour.com. They could be on realsimple.com, salon.com, all these different websites, vacation sites, InStyle, Cosmopolitan. They could be on all these different websites. So how does that work? Let's see if I bring that up here. I might bring a live example, but if we have time. But let me just go with some of these examples here. All right, so I've put some examples here. This is just kind of an idea. And while I'm on there, actually, I will bring a live one. So for example, see this ad right here? This is a retargeting ad. All right, this is a website that I visited earlier. And this is on Cosmopolitan. I said that right? Okay, and then you can see the banners that they have. So they'll have banners in different places. Here's another one right here, right at the top, a large banner. So if someone visited your website, for example, with Google, it does have to be website visitors. You can't use Instagram visitors and Facebook visitors, unfortunately, because Google's Google and they don't care about Facebook and Instagram visitors. They have their own thing. So you would use your YouTube page. You can use YouTube videos, YouTube page likes, things like that. Or people who have visited your website. So if you have a YouTube channel, you can create audiences from that. Or again, just people who visit your website in general. You have a banner and it would appear right here along with multiple other sites. So I'll just go through some other example sites. It would be your banner on MSN, on Real Simple. You can see they have all these banner spaces here. And they have this little play button. If you see that little turquoise kind of play looking button, when you see that on a website, generally that means your retargeting ads can be seen there. So if you're retargeting people, then they're more likely they'll be able to see your ads on those websites. Here's one on HGTV. Here's one in Los Angeles Times. If you remember Punta Mita there. So clearly I got retargeted from them. And so forth and so on. So that's what I really like about Google is that we're talking about millions of websites. So wherever your users are, they could see your ads on those websites. Plus, if your ad is appearing on a glamour.com or one of these fashion sites or blog, think about all the fashion blogs and all the makeup blogs and all those tutorials and all that stuff. And all those are using ads, Google ads, to drive their revenue, to pay for some of that. So when people are there, they're gonna be reminded that of your service and what you're able to do by having your ads on all those different places. That's what just what's so great. Before, you used to have to go to each individual website and try and spend like a few grand to get an ad, a big giant leaderboard or something on their website. Now you could do it again for $1 a day on Google. So $1 a day for Facebook, $1 a day for Google. Very inexpensive for ad budget. Cool, right? All right. And then the other piece,
Wesley, how many
is
people
advertising on YouTube.
How many people would you say that people can, how many display ads would be like for $1? Like how many times do you think that they will?
I usually would say if you have an audience of 5,000 or less around that area, then $1 a day will be plenty of ad budget to reach them.
Okay, so guys, with $1 a day, you could be on top of the New York Times in the display ad if you're based on New York or wherever. So it's $1 that you could have so much visibility.
Right. Yep. You just set your budget to $1 a day, and then it will only show it. Now, because you're just targeting again to your custom audience, I like to pretend this is my audience in my hand and I'm caring for them. It's such a small audience, it's very cheap to get in front of them, and I'm not spending hundreds or thousands of dollars. That ad spend is when you're trying to generate a bunch of business through cold traffic. But to just get in front of your audience, your people, way, way, way cheaper. So that carries on from Facebook, Instagram, any of the other platforms, now YouTube as well. Imagine having video ads on YouTube to your past clients. Now, YouTube does allow you to use your pixel audience and your database. So anyone in your Excel spreadsheet, anybody who you have in MindBody or any CRM that you're using, you can export those, upload them into Google, and they could be an audience. And that audience, you could target YouTube videos to those people. And if you're probably all familiar with YouTube ads, here's just an example I pulled right before the call. Right before the video starts, that's the most popular one. That's this middle one here, in-stream skippable ads. If you do YouTube ads, just do this one. Don't even worry about the other ones. Those are all the options, but I would only do this middle top one there. And there you are. So now when someone's watching a video, it could be a makeup tutorial. It could be again, eyebrow. It could be beauty. It could be any of those things. It doesn't matter. It could be Fox News, MSNBC. It doesn't matter what video they're watching at all, because it's your audience. Your ads can appear in front of them. All right. So they could be watching anything on YouTube. And as long as ads are displayed on that video, then your ads can be displayed right before. So think about that. Oh, one other cool thing too about YouTube ads is I think you get like 5 or 8 seconds. I don't remember the exact number. That they could
15 seconds.
Is it 15? Yeah, they get a certain amount of seconds, right, where they watch your ad, and if they skip it, you don't even pay for that impression, or you don't pay for that ad. So again, if this is you just trying to be kind of a celebrity in your kind of mini dome, essentially, to your clients, you'll look like, you know, a rock star to your clients because they're seeing you online everywhere. They don't realize that it's just for them. They think you're a rock star to everyone. So it kind of gives you that status. And if you build enough credibility and you build enough of that, you can actually then justify maybe increasing prices and things like that. But that's a whole nother strategy that I'm not going to get into yet. And the other thing too with this is the reticular activation system. So being in front of everyone, they'll see your ads, they're going to see your face or your logo, whatever, however it is you're branding to them. And if it's your business, then you do your brand. If it's you personally, it would be you. What that does is, if you're not familiar with reticular activation system, that's like that thing in your head. So let's say you get a white BMW like you buy a white BMW. Now, before you're thinking, you know, I want a white BMW. Not too many people have that. But once you buy the white BMW and you're on the freeway, you start noticing how many white BMWs there are. I know that happens with dresses. I know that happens with shoes, things like that. Because once you have it, or once your brain determines that that thing is important to you, it's basically filtering out everything else and just pointing out, oh, there's that white BMW. There's that white BMW. So it's kind of the same idea. If they're seeing your brand, your face, your whatever, if you're sending an email to them, if you're communicating them through a text, or you have any other types of ads or whatever you're doing, they're going to remember, oh, that sounds familiar. Oh, that looks, I've heard of this person or this company or whatever. So that likely could, over time, lead to higher open rates or higher conversions and higher just interactions in general, just depending how you're following up. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, with retargeting, essentially, it provides you any type of advertising or marketing you can do. It generally has the highest return on investment. So when you look at the whole year of retargeting ad spend versus how many customers or clients were created, or how many sales were created from that retargeting, it's like the return on investment on that ad spend is ridiculous. The only downside is it's limited by your audience size. So if you don't have very big of an audience, then you're only going to get, you're going to spend less. Your ROI will be great, but there's only so much limitation. You need more audience to get that higher and higher. The other thing is, it is a longer game. It's not something that instantly gets you, not all the time, that instantly gets you something. And sometimes people don't track it because they're not asking. And sometimes people are just seeing the ads. They're thinking it, oh, I got to go, I got to do this, or I got to schedule an appointment. And maybe they do it by just calling, not through the ad specifically. And so you kind of miss that opportunity, or attributing it to the ad. And a lot of people quit early and say, oh, this doesn't work, and they'll quit. But no one else is quitting. If you notice, the advertisers, trust me, they just let those budgets run. And of course the RAS, and then much, much more. So I really only planned to 25 minutes because that's what it seemed like everyone else was doing. And now I'm open for Q&A if anyone has any questions.
I do have questions, and I'm sure that a lot of people that they actually have questions as well. Where do you see the cheapest traffic? That I'm sure that you test a lot. Where do you drive the cheapest traffic these days?
You mean like on which of those platforms?
Yes, because I know like the cost. How do you see the drop of the cost for leads?
Right now, I would do any of them, right? You're really just looking at Google and Facebook. Google, I guess you have your YouTube and GDN. Right now, honestly, my ad costs have dropped because a lot of people have got out of the, have stopped their ads. So right now, I don't know how much it would affect retargeting because your ads are going to be cheaper anyway, but it would just make it that much cheaper where you'd get that much more exposure because the price to get your ad in front of people has come down.
So basically right now, guys, there is no competition in the industry. You could buy traffic for pennies, same like we made $1.2 million back in 2016 because we were buying like traffic for pennies. Nobody was in front of us. So now every single business owner is kind of like pull back. I think it's more valuable to buy traffic right now rather than stocks because everybody's pulling back, and I think it's like it's free traffic almost on sale.
Yes, definitely. So if you're doing regular, like let's say you're doing any kind of advertising at all, then like she said, I would definitely think about either adding to that traffic or whatnot. Plus, if you are running any ads, it is like, to me, if you're paying for any kind of advertising on Facebook or anywhere and you're not running retargeting, then you're leaving a lot of money on the table. A lot of money because you're essentially paying to get people to your website or landing page or lead form or whatever you're doing. And then a good percentage of people, 85, 90% of those people leave never to be heard from again. But if they were being pixeled or added to your audiences or any of that stuff, now that 80% because you're paying per click, right? So if you pay, let's say $2 or $3 per click, well, out of 100 clicks, only what, 20, 10, 8 of those are going to become anything. That means that 80 other clicks, let's say they were $2, that's $160 worth of ad spend is literally just gone. It's on, like, you caught it on fire and threw it in the fireplace. But if you had retargeted, well, gosh darn it, you've got another chance because at least they're in your retargeting audience and you could show more ads to them. So now the $160 didn't go to waste. The $160 put each those people into your pixeled audience, which is now an asset and worth something to you. Because the larger your pixeled audience get, then you're staying in front of people and you're able to start converting those at a time. So yes, you have your conversions, and then you have the price per pixel, which is how much it costs for you to get your pixel audience. Pretty interesting.
And yeah, it's really interesting to know. And actually, I know that February usually for entrepreneurs is a great season because people are waiting for the tax return and people are getting money back and they're spending. But now if you apply for the grants, you're waiting for your grants money. So I can't see a better like use from those grants, or basically the free money that government gives you, rather than, you know, investing yourself in your business and buy traffic, like, you know.
Right. Yeah. Or invest in getting this program up. Because once this program's up and you have the ads going and everything, it pretty much kind of runs on its own. And you just really budget the money, max budget, and you just let it run. You don't have to mess with it after that. And then that's it. It's super simple.
Yeah. So basically, you're you saw like all this traffic like is like dropping down, and like, do you see improvements in the retargeting pricing as well?
Yeah, it's gonna, because they're all your retargeting ads are still competing bid wise against normal targeted ads. So retargeting ads technically are cost more per impression sometimes than a regular ad, but because all ad costs, basically the inventory, there's more inventory, so those costs have just come down all across the board, including retargeting.
Yeah, because like retargeting, we all know that it costs so much to get a lead, but now these days it's like so cheap. So I think like everybody should just take advantage of the opportunity. And if like they didn't start on advertising yet, I think this is the right time, because I haven't seen so cheap traffic since 2014 maybe.
Yeah, definitely. And even if you're, because I know probably a large percentage do referrals and they don't really run ad campaigns and stuff like that. If that's the case, that's okay. You don't have to be doing that to use retargeting. Even just people you're meeting in person and adding them to your CRM and or database or things like that, that's fine too. You could still make retargeting work for you, even if you're not doing a bunch of, you know, traffic for leads gen and stuff like that. So it really just depends. It works for anybody.
Yeah, I know. And I think that that's like really important as well. Wesley, what other like strategies have you seen across, or what are you implementing on your business right now to kind of like cut the cost and, you know, like keep up with the entire quarantine thing?
Sure. So right now, I feel like what I'm trying to do is definitely, yeah, I'm trying to come up with ways to, of course, increase revenue to make up for revenue drop. Obviously, you're trying to do that. But then I'm also, if the government fulfills on these loans and grants and all that stuff, which I don't know what the timeline is on that, but I was thinking, gosh, if that comes through in the next 3 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks, that could be huge, you know, because what that'll allow me to do is I'm going to basically go to work on positioning. And when I say that, it's planting seeds and it's positioning. It's how do I get ahead of everybody else right now? And that's what I'm focusing on, is what can I do to get ahead of the other businesses that might be taking their foot off the gas, maybe doing less ads, maybe doing whatever. And Roland earlier, if you'd seen him, check out the video, he was saying, you know, go more on ads because it's cheaper. And I was thinking, yeah, I was leaving my ads the same, but why not increase ad spend? That could help make up some of the gap.
How long do you let the ads test before you find the right price these days?
Honestly, I am probably the most shortcut ad type person out there because I don't have time and I have to I'm managing all my own ads and everything. So what I'll do is I'll create usually 2 ads, sometimes 1, and just with different images, and then test it with, I have to think, okay, what kind of lead cost am I expecting? What am I willing to pay for a lead? Let's say I'm willing to pay, like my target is $12, but I'm willing to pay up to 20. I'll run that ad for like 72 hours, maybe like $60 a day. So maybe a $200, $225 budget, and then kind of see where it lands. Or you would test 2 ads, test like, oh, I feel good about this ad, I feel good about this ad, and maybe a couple images, but really, really small. You don't really do a bunch of stuff. And then you just see, did either of those ads work? Did they get you leads at the cost you wanted? If not, then back to the drawing board, run another test. Or if it works, then great. Just increase the budget a little bit and then go from there. Depending how big your audience is, that's a whole nother story.
I also feel that we test a little bit as well, and I feel that there is not even necessary to test that much because there is not much competition to test against these days. So I think as important as is the testing as a regular base, like these days, when you buy traffic for pennies, especially in the industries where everybody backs up, is much. If normally you only like to optimize an ad for like a week, now in like bump 3 days, you know your winning ad, and you could scale from there. I feel.
Yeah, definitely.
How about Google? Have you seen anything relevant in Google that is much more different than usual?
No, I mean, I would say like we have ads running on YouTube, for example, and it's been kind of up and down. It does seem like there's been a drop in cost per lead. So that could be a variety of things, less advertisers. It could be, well, I advertise a webinar, so maybe people have more time, so they're more likely to register. So I mean, I haven't seen anything major, but I have seen some reduction in costs there. Because all my ads were like climbing up, and then like after this happened, they all went, oh, not bad, but the costs went down.
Which is great. I guess
Yeah.
we, in the same time, we don't necessarily make that much money these days, but we have the cost reduced as well. Because think, if you generate $10,000 and you only spend $1,000 in advertising, vs making $20,000 and spend $9,000, is the same at the end of the day. It's like proportional, I feel.
Yeah.
And I feel like even in the like beauty industry, people that they are buying traffic for their local shops, I think this should be relevant because you could either like send people to buy gift cards or book a like free consultation for this eyebrows, or like there are like
Right.
a lot of ways for them to still be relevant.
How many people would you say,
Book a like free
oops, how many people would you say are like advertising?
I would say,
I mean, in this industry.
I would say about 10% of the people in the beauty industry understand how important is, unfortunately, the advertising. The rest of them, they just, rely on the word of mouth, or like they
That's
don't
what I
understand.
assume.
Yeah.
That's what I assume. And so with that being said, a lot of people are missing out, and that's why something even as like the retargeting, just people aren't doing it. So like I said, if you're just looking to get your foot in the, or put your toe in the water and start with retargeting as some kind of ads, especially if you're referral based and word of mouth and all that, just think about how you're talking about your competition. They're not doing retargeting ads. I would probably say 99 or maybe 97 out of 100 are not doing it. And so that's something you could do to set yourself apart. And again, by doing it now, what I was going to say is by doing it now, it's very inexpensive. You can start positioning yourself to your whole database, to everyone, reminding them to refer you or whatever the case might be, you know.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I think now if you never started, there is not a better time to start. Like I feel this is like a revamp for a lot of businesses, and a lot of businesses will go out of business, unfortunately. So I guess you need to hustle now. This is like a new reboost for you to have the opportunity to start again and actually buy traffic in front of people that they don't afford, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I think you shared so much knowledge, and I know your time is really, really, really valuable. Thank you so much for sharing all this input. If people would want to learn more about the services that you provide, where they can reach you.
It would be wesley.linkyou@linkyou.net. Just email me. We'll work it out.
He is really a very helpful resource and always full of knowledge. And we met on another mastermind that I met other people that they were speakers as well. You're an amazing human being. I hope you stay safe, you and your family. Thank you so much, Wesley, and I will talk to you soon.
No problem. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.